guys, this is the professor. It's getting cooler outside. The wind's about 40 miles an hour, so I thought today that I would move inside here into the log cabin and I would show you how to make my log cabin mix, which is a type of Bisquick type of mix. It's complete and it works great for all kinds of baked goods in the campfire and around the fireplace. Okay, let's go through the ingredients that we're going to use today. First of all, I've worked out the recipe around a 5-pound bag of flour, which is about 16 cups, more or less. And so we're just going to use all of it. The entire 5-pound bag of flour goes in. In addition to that, we're going to need some baking powder. We're also going to need a little bit of salt. And we're going to need some shortening. So today I have Crisco in a 1-cup pre-measured container. And then, of course, we're going to add the non-fat dry milk. So this will be a complete mix, and we won't have to add any milk when we're out at the camp. Just adding water alone will make the mix good enough. Okay, we're going to need some things here to mix up our mix in. First of all, we're going to need your large bowl. It's going to be big enough to hold the 5 pounds of flour. We're also going to need to be able to do some measuring, and so I have a 1-cup measure here, a 1/2 cup measure, a set of measuring spoons, and then to work the Crisco into the flour mixture, we're going to need a pastry blender. So that should be everything that we need to put together our log cabin mix, which is the base for all of our biscuits and everything else that we're going to make from this mix. So part 1 of the video today will be about how to make the basic mix. Okay, the first thing we'll do here is empty all of our bag of flour into the bowl. Once again, 5 pounds is about 16 cups, more or less. Close enough. Now, the next thing we're going to need is the proper proportion of baking powder. And so for baking powder, we're going to need 1/2 cup. Now here goes our 1/2 cup of baking powder. And to that we will add 1 tablespoon of salt. Now, in addition to that, 2 cups of non-fat dry milk. And now, all the dry ingredients are in, so we're going to shake this up, and then we'll be ready to add the shortening. Okay, now we're going to add a 1 cup of Crisco. Now actually the recipe calls for 2 cups. You could use the full 2 cups. That makes your biscuits and your baking goods lighter and fluffier with a more tender texture on the inside. I personally find that 1 cup is good. I'm trying to cut back on fat. You could use butter-flavored Crisco. You could even use butter. But I tend to think that the regular Crisco works the best. That way you can keep it for a long time without refrigerating it. Because normally we don't store the Crisco in the refrigerator, none of the other dry ingredients, so there isn't any need to refrigerate the finished mix either. So what we're going to do now is put that entire cup into our mixture, and then we're going to take our pastry blender and try to work all of that in there to the consistency of a kind of a coarse meal-like. So we'll cut that up and then continue to cut and continue to work that into the flour and the other dry ingredients. Okay, now you can see here that as we finish the blending process, that all of the Crisco is evenly incorporated throughout the dry ingredients, and our biscuit mix is essentially done. So what we can do now is to take and parcel that out into some jars, or simply leave it in this bowl with a tight-fitting lid, and we're ready to make all kinds of different baked goods, starting out probably with biscuits, moving on to muffins, all types of desserts, many different things. What I would like to do then is to go ahead in the second part of this video series and show you how we make biscuits. So our log cabin mix is complete. This is part 1 of the series on baking in the log cabin. And this is the professor. I'll see you soon.